If the external asks you the question, what is macroeconomics? We had already discussed about macro and micro. Micro is the study, the economic activities of an individual. Macro, it is economic activity, study of economic activities as a whole. For example, national income, GDP, like that. So, what you have to write it, the branch of economics studies the economic activities as a whole. You can simply say in front of him, no problem. And then what are the central issues of macroeconomics? What are the central issues? The overall level of employment, and then growth rate of national output, general price level, and stability of economy. There are 4 important points. You can easily say overall level of employment, growth rate of national output, and then general price level and stability of economy. Please bear in mind. What is the difference between micro and macroeconomics? If this question is asked, then what will be the answer? 3 important answers. The first one is microeconomics studies the economic problems at an individual level, whereas macroeconomics studies the economics problems at the level of economy as a whole. And then microeconomic studies determines the output price of an individual firm, whereas the macroeconomics determines the aggregate output and general price level. This is the main difference here, aggregate output and general price level, whereas in microeconomics, output price for an individual firm. And then demand and supply are the tools of microeconomics, whereas aggregate demand and aggregate supply are the tools of macroeconomics. Intermediate goods, please explain. If this question asked, what is intermediate question? For manufacturing the final product, you have to put in the process the raw materials first. The raw material has to be passed through so many processes in order to become the final product. So the product, the materials within this boundary line, that is called intermediate goods. You can write like that. You can say like that. The goods within the boundary line of the production and value yet to be added, because that further process or further materials has to be added in the middle process. So value yet to be added to the goods and they are not ready for use by their final customers. If it is a final product, we can use it. But if the intermediate goods, it is not ready actually. It is under the process. That is called intermediate goods. Can you tell 3 important points, important difference between the intermediate goods and final goods? I had already told about the final goods, whereas intermediate goods are not ready for use. So what is the difference? The first difference is the intermediate goods within the boundary line of the production. It is under process, it is not yet finished. Whereas the final goods, it is available for direct use, direct consumption. And then second point, it may be sold intermediate good. For example, in sugar industries, sugar mill, if you come across the sugar mill, sugar cane will be the raw materials. The final product will be the sugar. Then there will be some byproduct. It is called molasses. It is used for manufacturing some chocolate and all. So that product, even the process, the intermediate goods can be sold in order to make profit during this accounting year. So intermediate goods means it may be sold by the firm to make profits, whereas the final products are not to be resold by the firms to make profits during the accounting year. This is the second difference. And then third, it is not ready for use because it is in the process. It is not yet been completed. But whereas the final product, it is ready for use. And then during the process, in the middle process, the first stage or second stage, we have to add some value. Some consumables are to be made, some additional materials are to be added in order to reach the final product. So value is to be added here, whereas the final product is not to be added because it's already finished. Let us see consumer goods. What is consumer goods? Those goods which satisfy the wants of the consumers. That is called consumer goods. The consumer goods are classified into 4 categories. The first one is durable goods. What do you mean by durable goods? Durable goods, the lifespan of the goods more than 1 year. For example, if you purchase TV and then fridge or car, etc. The semi-durable goods, next one is semi-durable. It is less than 1 year. The example may be crockery and cloths. And then non-durable goods. those goods which are exhausted within a day, within a single use, that is called non-durable goods. It is the perishable goods coming under this category. For example, vegetables, fruits, milks, etc. And then apart from that, the services are there. Services. For example, if you are watching a movie in a cinema theater, that is coming under services. And then you are taking treatment from a doctor, that is coming under services. If you are asked the question, what is capital goods? Capital goods is nothing but the goods used in the process of production for several years. For example, if you purchased a machinery, if you purchased a building, definitely you will be in a position to getting rent through for so many years. So it is a revenue making investment. And then plant and machinery. With plant and machinery, you can produce the goods and services. You can sell it, you can earn it. So the goods which are used in the process of production for several years, that is called capital goods. And then what is investment? If they are asking what is investment, you can simply say that it is a process of capital formation, or how much of addition is made to a capital stock. Both are same. You can say any one. There is a formula. I equal to delta K. I refers to investment. Delta K, it is nothing but the change in the capital stock during the year. So I equal to delta K. There are two components of investment. The one is fixed investment, another is inventory investment. Fixed investment refers to the investment made in plant and machinery or building, etc. like that. Inventory investment is nothing but the change in stock of raw material, finished goods, and then semi-finished goods. So change in. What is the formula for that? Closing inventory minus opening inventory. Okay, you have to remember this one. The types of investment. What are the types of investment? There are two types: gross investment and net investment. Gross investment is nothing but the addition made to the existing stock of capital during the accounting period or period of time. So addition made to the existing stock. Formerly how it was, now how much is it is added, that is called gross investment. So there is a formula. Gross investment is nothing but the net investment plus depreciation. Before knowing this, you must understand what is net investment. Net investment is nothing but actual increase to the stock of the capital. Formerly there may be some capital. During the year some addition was made, any increase was made. So that is called net investment. There is a formula. Net investment, we have to deduct depreciation from the gross investment, we can get net investment. So with the net investment, if we add a depreciation, you can get gross investment. Understand? What is depreciation? Depreciation, it is nothing but the reduction in value of assets due to obsolescence, usages, and then wear and tear and technology development like that. It is a loss of value of fixed assets due to wear and tear. What is wear and tear? Wear and tear means even you are not using. For example, if you purchase a vehicle and you park it but you didn't use it, even then due to the passage of time it will be depreciated, the value will be depreciated. And then obsolescence. Once upon a time, just 20 years back, the typewriter and then Walkman were famous, was in fashion. Now, after the invention of the computer, when the computer come into force, these products become obsolete because the mobile phone is having all features of other products. And then usages. Any vehicle, anything, if you use again and again, automatically it will be depreciated. And then depreciation reserve fund. What is depreciation reserve fund? It is a fund to be created by the producer in order to meet upcoming depreciation loss. Understand? So it is a liability. Actually, depreciation fund, it is a liability. It will be coming in the balance sheet liability sides. If it is investment, it is an asset. Please remember. What is the difference between the stock and flow? Before that, you should know what is stock. Stock, it is nothing but the quantity of economic variable which is measured at a particular point of time. You remember this point, the particular point of time. Whereas the flow refers to the quantity of economic variable which is measured during a period of time. Here period of time, here point of time. This is the main difference. And then there is no time dimension in case of stock. Here there is a time dimension. We have to calculate per hour or per day, per month, per half year or per year. And then it is a static concept, whereas it is a dynamic concept. And then the quantity of money and wealth. The stock refers to the quantity of money and wealth only, whereas the flow refers to the consumption and investments, etc. What is real flow? Before knowing the real flow, first of all, we should know what is factors of production. The factors of production is nothing but the land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship or organization. So we have actually here two sector economy. Two sector economy means households and firms. For firms, we are supplying land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. We are supplying. With these resources, they are manufacturing goods and services and they are supplying the same goods and services to us. This, transfer of factor services from households to firms, that is called real flow. But in case of money flow, after they have manufactured the goods and services, they are supplying. We are purchasing, for which we have to make payment. For example, if we supply land, labor, capital, everything, if we are supplying the land, we have to collect rent from them. If you are working in that organization, we will get salary or wages. If we contribute the capital, then we will get interest. And then entrepreneurship, also we will get the management, salary, etc. like that. So here in money flow, how the money is to be flowing between these two sector economy, households and firm. The expenditure or the goods and services, what the goods the manufactured by the firm, we are purchasing. So for that we are making payment for the goods and services. So the money is flowing from households to firms. But at the same time, firms have to make factor payment because we have supplied the factor. Whatever the factors, land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, we have supplied. For land, they have to give rent. For labor, they have to give wages or salary. Capital, they have to give interest, like that. So this is a money flow between the households and firms. Look at a glance at this chart. It is nothing but a flow chart, circular flow chart in two sector economy. There are two markets, that is factor market and product market. As I had already told, there are two sector, producer, firm. Firm is the one sector and households is the another sector. Households, we are the households. We are supplying the land, labor, capital and other services, land, labor, capital, everything we are supplying to the producers. With these resources, they are manufacturing the goods and services and supplying the same to the household sectors. So the inner column, this is called real flow. We had already seen this. So this is real flow. And then one more, factor payments. For the supply of land, labor, capital and then entrepreneurship by the households, they are making, the producers and firm making factor payments in terms of rent, wages, interest, profits, etc. to the household sectors. So rent means what? If the land is given, for that the rent is paying. The producer will pay rent. And then if you are working in that organization, in the proprietary firm, then we will get wages. If you are giving the capital, we will get the interest. And then if you are organizing, entrepreneurs, there will be profit for that. So these are the factor payments from producer to the household sector. So this is a sources of income for household sector. As far as they are concerned, their income sources only will be in this field. So with this money, they are paying, they are spending some money for consumption expenditure. That is called money flow. So they are spending in order to purchase the goods and services produced by the producer firm. So this circular flow in two sector. It is very important questions, please remember. Let's see the important topic, national income. National income at current price. National income means what? The income of a nation, that is called national income. How we can derive it? The money value of goods and services measured at current price. That is called national income at current price. So here there is a formula. Y equal to Q into P. Y refers to national income at current price. Q refers to the quantity of goods and services produced throughout the country during the period. And then P refers to the price of goods and services prevailing during the accounting year. Please remember. Let's see about national income at constant prices. It refers to the money value of all goods and services at a constant price, not current price. It is at constant price. The formula will be the same, Y equal to Q into P. But here Y refers to the national income at constant prices. And then Q, the quantity of goods and services produced during the accounting period. That is a slight difference. And then P refers to price of goods and services produced, at the prevailing during the base period. So the price prevailing during the base period, that is the thing that we have to take into account. The external asks a question. What is domestic product, gross domestic product at market price? You can say the market value of the final goods and services produced within the domestic territory of our country, that is called GDP at market price. So if he asks net domestic product at market price, so net domestic product at market price equal to GDP. What you have learned here? So GDP market price minus depreciation. If the depreciation is deducted from GDP, then you can get net domestic product at market price. This is another. And the next one, gross national product at market price. Gross national product at market price equal to GDP market price plus net factor income from abroad, NFIA, that is called net factor income from abroad. And then net national product at market price, NNP-MP equal to what? What is the formula? You can take the same GDP-MP, but we have to deduct the depreciation, and then we have to add net factor income from abroad. So it is one formula, and another formula, instead of taking GDP-MP, you can take GNP-MP, gross national product market price. You can take it. You can straight away deduct the depreciation from GNP-MP. You can get NNP-MP. So there are two formulas, please bear in mind. And then gross domestic product at factor cost. You can find it out by deducting NIT. NIT means net indirect tax. Indirect tax you have to deduct from GDP-MP. You can easily get GDP factor cost and straight. Net domestic product at factor cost. In order to find out the net domestic product at factor cost, we have to take into account GDP-MP market price. From this we have to deduct net indirect taxes and then depreciation. So the formula will be gross domestic product market price minus net indirect taxes minus depreciation. Another formula is there. NDP-FC equal to GDP-FC, the same, but here market price, here factor cost. So GDP at factor cost minus depreciation. You can straight away find it out from this formula. And then gross national product at factory cost. Gross national product at factory cost equal to GDP-FC. Factor cost GDP we have to take into account, and then net factor income from abroad we have to add it. If we add, then we can get gross national product at factor cost. And then net national product at factor cost, NNP-FC equal to GNP, gross national product factor cost minus depreciation. You can easily get the NNP-FC. Or another formula, NNP-FC equal to national domestic product factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. These are the important formula, please bear in mind.